Into match number 10, we go now over in League 2 with Gillingham out on top. That's right, they lead the charge with Salford and Walsall in hot pursuit. But will they still be there this coming week, Steve? We're going to get into that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we take a look at match number 10, that's right, with the Gills coming out on top at the moment with yet to taste defeat. Goodness gracious me. But breathing down the necks, Salford and Walsall currently in the automatics. And of course, if we look down the bottom of the table, it is down, deeper and down. Cheltenham and Shrewsbury currently heading to the conference. Goodness gracious me. But that can all change this coming week, match day. We'll get into all of it in a second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe. You want some show for Blackburn Rovers, League 2, woo, football. We're all here under one rooski, that's right. So, big weekend up ahead. And of course, a massive change to the table could be right around the corner. What am I talking about? Well, I'll show you in just one second. Big shout out to the members and the patrons. You know who you are. But let's get into it then, shall we? And of course, look back at the results from last weekend and then look forward to this weekend's drama, of course. So here we go. And I've got some news for you guys. Of course, you've been waiting patiently, but we'll get to it in a minute. Cambridge, Fleetwood ended up being a 2-1 win for Cambridge. I got that one bang on the nose. Meanwhile, Harrogate Town beat Shrewsbury Town 2-0. Also, bang on the nose by me. Meanwhile, Barrow, though, picking up a 1-0 win over Crewe. Massive win for them. Bromley and Chesterfield duked out to a 2-2 scoreline. I got that one wrong. Oldham with a massive 3-0 win, which saw the end of Michael Flynn. Goodness gracious, he's gone out. They're looking for a new manager right now, or they may have already scooped up a new manager, I'm not too sure. Colchester, Bristol Rovers 1-1 in the end. Barnet with a 3-0 win of Grimsby. Their form's taking a bit of a dive. MK Dons did lose to Stanley, big win for those guys on the road. Gillingham with a 3-1 win over Newport County. I went with a 1-0 win. Notts County 4-0 winners over Crawley. I went with 2-1. Salford beat Swindon at the top of the table, Crunch Clash, and Walsall with a 4-2 win over Tranmere. That's right. So, let's have a quick look at the table then. It is the Gills out on top, yet to taste defeat. But they can be caught this coming weekend with Salford and Walsall. And even Swindon Town looking to tabletop them this coming match day. Going down, like I said, Shrewsbury and Cheltenham. But it is tight. Newport County are in there as well. Don't rule out Crawley, Colchester, and even the likes of Barrow, Stanley, and Tranmere. Goodness gracious me. So that's the state of play in the league table. But I know you guys have been waiting a long, long time for this. It is the prediction league. I've been so busy. I still am busy. I nearly put it off for another week, but I just know around the corner it is double match week. So I've got to get an update to you now. And here it is. So respect to these guys. There's not many of you taking part, but I do appreciate those that have. And these are those. That's right. We have a current leader of Jimmy Watton up there with 44 predictions points correctly for him. Shepherd's up there with 38. And then we have a couple of chasing back. Still plenty of time in to get in here. There's a lot of points to go out on the door. But right now, Jimmy Watton has a decent lead on the rest of you. Can you challenge him? Can the likes of Fat Trev or George come back and give it a good crack? What about Dylan Wakefield? He's there with a big fat 1 point. So that's the current state of play. But currently, Jimmy Watton, Shepherd look like the two duking it out for the early door dominance in League 2. But they all change again with, of course, the next round of games. And these are those. That's right. All kicks off this coming Saturday. Early door kickoff. But we're going to get into the deep end right here, right now. And it is, of course, Saturday, September the 27th. It's Crewe. It's Notts County. It's coming at Grimsby Road. That's right. Now, these two sides, of course, locked horns 19 times since 2003. We have 5 wins Crewe, 9 wins Notts County. There's been 5 draws. Crewe currently find themselves in 12th with 13 points. Notts County are in 7th with 14 points. But Crewe's form pretty woeful. Just 1 win in the last 6. As for Notts County, they've won 3 and lost 2 of the last 5. But the last time they played at Grimsby Road, it was a 2-0 win for Crewe, who have won 4 of the last 5, unbeaten against Crewe, unbeaten against Notts County in the last 5 matches as well. But they're coming into this pretty woeful form. Their last victory was a 7-1 win over Chesterfield in the Football League Trophy North. As for Notts County on the back of that 4-0 win over Crawley. Crewe are favoured for the victory here, and I'm going with them, and I don't know if I should, looking at that form. I've gone with a 2-0 win for Crewe to take it to the house. Let's go to Oldham then, shall we, as they take on Barnet. Of course, this match last season was in the non-league. Oldham under Mickey Mellon are 11th with 13 points. They've won 3 on the bounce. Up against Barnet under Dean Brennan, they are 13th with 13 points as well. They've won 2 on the bounce. Now, they have played 6 times in 2022. 3 wins for Oldham, 2 wins for Barnet. There's been 1 draw. They last played over at Boundary Park. It was a 3-0 win for Barnet, who of course got back-to-back clean sheets against Oldham. Oldham, though, on the back of that 3-0 win over Cheltenham, they themselves have 3 clean sheets on their bounce. Up against Barnet on the back of 2 big wins, one over Crewe and Grimsby most recently for the visitors. The bookies' odds on this one, they do go towards Barnet for the W. Not me. I'm going to go with a draw, just right down the middle. Of course, these two sides doing all right so far this season. Another team that's doing all right at the moment is Walsall. They're on a good bit of form right now. They're taking on Accrington, Stanley under John Doolan, who are 18th right now. They picked up 9 points for them, coming into this on back-to-back wins. They've taken on Walsall under Matt Sadler, 92% form for them right now, unbeaten in at least the last 6. They are third with 19 points, and they've taken on Accrington Stanley 9 times since 2006. 5 wins for Stanley, 3 wins for Walsall. There's been 1 draw. They last played at Stanley. It was a 0-0 scoreline back in October 2024. Back-to-back clean sheets. Stanley against Accrington. They're coming into this on the back of back-to-back wins. One over Colchester, which was the last match at home, and of course most recently over MK Dons at the Stadium MK. Walsall on the back of that 4-2 win over Tranmere at the Bescott. Their last away match was a 1-1 scoreline away to Fleetwood Town. The bookies' odds on this one, they'll go with Walsall. I think I'm unfortunately going to go that way as well. 2-1 winners. Walsall taking the points and of course closing the tap, and they could be top of the table with that victory. We'll see. Bristol Rovers, they're taking on Salford City. Bristol Rovers have found a bit of form now under Darragh Clarke. They're 10th, 14 points for them right now, unbeaten in at least the last 7. Up against Salford under Carl Robinson, they've won 4 on the bounce, and they're taking on their hosts twice since 2021. Bristol Rovers have won 1 of them. Salford yet to get a win, and there's been 1 draw between the two sides. They last played over at Memorial Field. It was back in April 2022. It was a 1-0 win for Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers, though, are on the back of that 1-1 scoreline away to Colchester. Salford on the back of that 3-2 win over Swindon. Of course. So last time out at home though for Bristol Rovers, they won 2-1. And like I said, they're on a really good bit of form right now. Bookies' odds on this one, I'll give it to Bristol Rovers. I'm probably leaning towards a draw on this. 2-2, plenty of drama, plenty of goals. No winner though in my eyes. Crawley Town up against Barrow. That's right, Crawley under Scott Lindsay on an okay bit of form. They are coming into this on the back of 8 defeat. They're unbeaten. They've just lost 1 to the last 5. Up against Barrow and Andrew Wing, who won twice at the last 6. They sit 19th. With 9 points. Crawley sit 21st with 8 points. And they've played each other 14 times since 2008. We've got 6 wins for Crawley. We have 5 wins for Barrow. And we've got 3 draws between the two sides. They last played at Crawley. It was a 1-1 scoreline way back in April 2024. Crawley, though, on the back of that 4-0, lost to Notts County. Crewe losing to Barrow, of course, most recently as well. Coming into this, the bookies' odds will give it to Crawley. I think I'm also going to give it to Crawley. 2-1 winners. Barrow just don't convince me at the moment. Meanwhile, Chesterfield taking on Newport County. Coming at you over at Chesterfield. Paul Cook's boys are in 5th. They've got 15 points to the name, but they're winners in the last 5 matches. Up against Newport County, or 22nd. They're also winners in the last 6. Goodness gracious me. Speaking of 6, they have played 6 times, these two clubs, since 2013. 3 wins Chesterfield, 2 wins Newport. There's been 1 draw. They last played over at Chesterfield. It was a 2-1 win way back in March 2025. Chesterfield have actually won 3 on the bounce against their Welsh opponents, but they're coming into on back-to-back draws. The bookies for this one, they give it to Chesterfield. Dirk gives it to Chesterfield. Going to go with a 3-0, and Chesterfield will get the 3 points and finally get their automatic dream back on track. Meanwhile, Gillingham, they are taking on Harrogate Town. Come at you at Priestfields. Gareth Ainsworth's boys are top of the charts. They're 5 wins in the last 6. They're actually unbeaten in the last 8. Up against Harrogate and Simon Weaver, not bad form for them. They've won 2 of the last 3. But they sit 16th right now with 11 points. And they're taking on Gillingham 6 times since 2022. 1 win for the Gills, 3 wins for Harrogate. There's been 2 draws, including a draw last time they played in Harrogate. That was back in March 2025. The last time they played at Gillingham, though, was a 2-1 win for Harrogate themselves. Goodness gracious. The Gills on the back of that 3-1 win over Newport in Wales. Harrogate on the back of that 2-0 win over Shrewsbury. That was at home. Their last away match was a 3-1 loss to Swindon Town. The Gills are expected to win this one by the bookies. I'm going with a 1-0 win. Just enough to get over the line and keep them on track in number 1 spot. Fleetwood Town up against Colchester United. Come at you over at Highbury. Pete Wild's boys are 15th with 12 points, but they are winless in the last 3. Up against Colchester, Stanley County, just 1 defeat in the last 5, but they're all the way down to 20 for the table with just 8 points. They've taken on Fleetwood 6 times since 2014. 1 win for Fleetwood, 3 wins for Colchester. There's been 2 draws. They last played at Fleetwood. It was a 0-0 scoreline way back in November 2024. Colchester, though, on the back of that 1-1 scoreline at home to Bristol Rovers. Fleetwood losing to Cambridge on the road last time around. But the bookies for this one, they'll give them the upper hand. I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory as well for Fleetwood. It could be the beginning of the end for the Crowleys at Colchester United. I hope for them this season, but it just doesn't look like it's happening. Meanwhile, Grimsby Town taking on Cheltenham. Of course, Aaron Downs is in the dugout for Cheltenham these days, currently. David Artell in the dugout for Grimsby. They sit 5th right now, just 1 defeat in the last 4. Up against Cheltenham under Aaron Downs. Of course, Michael Flynn removed from his position, just 1 win in the last 6. They've taken on Grimsby 20 times since 2004. They have 7 wins apiece and 6 draws. They last played at Grimsby as a 3-2 win back in August 2024. Grimsby coming out on top on that one. Grimsby, though, losing to Barnet most recently. Cheltenham on the back of that 3-0 loss to Oldham. They haven't scored a goal in back-to-back games. Just 1 goal scored in the last 4 in all shapes and sizes. Grimsby, though, favourites for the victory. They are at home up against the unknown entity that is Cheltenham Town. Going with 2-1 win for them to take the points and hopefully keep their promotion dream on the right track. Meanwhile, Shrewsbury and Michael Appleton, they are 23rd right now, 5 points for them in the moment. Up against MK Dons and Paul Bourne, winless in the last 5 for them. They sit 14th with 12 points. Now they're taking on Shrewsbury 22 times since 2006. 7 wins for the Shrews, 8 wins for MK Dons. There's been 7 draws. They last played, of course, at Shrewsbury. It was a 2-1 win for the Shrews back in October 2022. That was in League One. Meanwhile, Shrewsbury on the back of that 2-0 loss to Harrogate. MK Dons losing themselves to Accrington Stanley. Their last victory was a 2-1 away win in Wales against Newport County. The bookies' odds for this one, they'll give it to MK Dons, but right now they are losing. They've got a bit of an identity crisis, but they should win this one if they have any dreams to compete once again in the league. Meanwhile, Swindon Town, I took a bit of a backward step this past week. They're taking on Bromley, though, coming at you. Ian Holloway's boys are 4th with 18 points. Up against the Bromley and Andy Woodman, who are 8th with 14 points. Of course, winless though in the last 3. Now, Swindon have taken on Bromley twice since 2024. Bromley have won 1, Swindon have won none. It's been 1 draw. They last played, of course, at Swindon. 1-0 win as it was for Bromley. Bromley, though, are on the back of that 2-2 scoreline at home to Chesterfield. Swindon losing on the road to Salford. The last couple of games at home have resulted in 6 goals between the two. And they are favoured for the victory in this one with the bookies. I'm going to go with the victory as well for Swindon Town. I think Holloway's got them cooking right now. Bromley will be a difficult outfit. I've gone just the 1-0 win, though, to get the points and, of course, compete for that top 3 spots. And then finally, we've got to Tranmere. We've got to Prenton Park as they host a Cambridge United side. That's right. Andrew Crosby's boys are 17th, 9 points for them. 1-1 loss, 1 drew 1 over the last 3. Cambridge, Neil Harris, they are 9th, 14 points for them. 1-1 loss, 1 drew 1 as well over the last 3. Now, they've played 6 times, these two sides, since 2014. 2 wins Tranmere, nothing for Cambridge. There's been 4 draws, including the last 3. That's right. 1-1 in Tranmere most recently. That was back in April 2021. Tranmere, though, on the back of that 4-2 loss to Walsall. We have Cambridge crashing out of the cup to Fulham most recently. But they just have the edge to Cambridge. I think I'm also going to give it to Cambridge as well with a 1-0 win. And again, that of course give Neil Harris and the lads a chance, a bit of optimism as they try to remain in that playoff contention. So that's my picks. And if I'm right, that's what the table will look like. It'll look like this. It'll be Gillingham. It'll be Walsall. It'll be Swindon Town in the top 3 with Salford, Chesterfield, Grimsby and Cambridge going down. Shrewsbury and Cheltenham pretty much as you were down the foot. Because it all can still change. And of course, so can the prediction league. So keep on going. Now, what I do expect is I won't give you an update next week because we've got double match week. So it might be like a week or 2 or a couple of match days until I bring you back up to date. But anyway, regardless, we are there. Of course, subscribe, smash the like. Look forward to seeing you whenever I return. But until then, I am done.